Live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everyone out there is having a great start to their Friday. And as we always are on Fridays, we are now joined by Max Hers from Preds Radio, who is up in Canada. Max, are you in Montreal? Are you in Winnipeg? Have you made it over there for Saturday's game yet?
We are in Winnipeg.
There
a
you
bit
go.
Of a late arrival last night, but we are here.
Love it. Love it. Preds are finishing up their 4-game Canadian road trip tomorrow against the Jets. 5 o'clock puck drop, 5 o'clock pregame, 6 o'clock puck drop against the Jets. Max, last night, obviously a tough one. That's one where late in the season you may look back and hate that you didn't get 2 points out of it. Cole Caulfield scores with 20 seconds left after the Canadians block what would have been the clinching empty net goal. You go to overtime, and then Cole Caulfield scores again with 2 seconds left in the extra period. Thoughts on that game where the Preds played well, but obviously just a couple plays down the stretch ended up making it a 1-point game instead of 2 for Nashville.
Yeah, I think this one already stings, Jake. I don't think you got to wait till the end of the season for this one to sting. Preds played really well in a hard place to win against a team with some really good players. And in the closing moments, the best player amongst those great players got him, and he got him twice. And the Habs probably could have won that game 3-4 times over in overtime. They probably could have tied it 5 times along the way in the last 5-10 minutes of the third. But UC Saros and the Preds' defensive effort were good enough to keep them ahead all the way until the very end. The only time that they lost their structure was when they sold out for an empty netter. Jonathan Marchessault shot it at Lane Hudson. He knocked it down and made a quick play up, and the Preds got caught with numbers. And that was enough to tie the game. 3-on-3 overtime is always going to be a bit of a coin flip, and the Preds survived it all the way until the very end when, again, they got a little scrambly and the Canadians barely beat the clock. So, it stinks. I mean, you lost a game to an incredible original individual performance, but you did almost everything you needed to win that game other than getting a third goal, whether that was along the way on the chances the Preds had, whether it was an empty netter, or whether it was the big chance they had in overtime with Philip Forsberg.
Yeah, in overtime had the 2-on-0 with an opportunity to win that game. And it's one of those things where, yes, it's great you got a point, but there are overtime losses that feel like you won and ones that feel like you lost. Obviously, last night, you feel like you lost a point with the chance that you had to take down Montreal. But, Max, overall, you've got 3 points through 3 games on this Canadian road trip. Winnipeg, the reigning President's Cup winners from last year, obviously not going to be an easy task on Saturday. But overall, you have to like where the Preds are sitting through their first 5 games of the year. You've got 6 points on the board, which obviously, we say it ad nauseum is a lot better than they were 5 games into last year.
Yeah. My personal goal for this road trip was 50% points percentage, which would be 4 points, 2 wins, or now either a win and 2 overtime losses or 2 wins. So I've been happy with the way the Preds played. I think they've shown what they need to show, especially going on the road and finding a way, which was what they did in Ottawa in the first game of the road trip on Monday afternoon in a game that was an absolute slog. This was not the game you want to show somebody who's never watched hockey before. It took 3 hours. It was insane. The pace of play was awful, mostly because of the officiating. There were way too many penalties. Every face-off team seemed to take a full minute to drop the puck. Guys were getting kicked out of draws every time. It was a bad game. It was the Senators' home opener. They had a big crowd. They had a rowdy crowd. And the Preds, very similarly to last night until the very end, found a way to win. They were winning 1-0. Then they doubled that lead. They gave up a goal, but they held on. They hit the empty netters. Now, last night, very similar. It was a much prettier game, but the score line and the formula was the same. And then they couldn't get that last goal to either go up a pair or hit the empty net. So it really was 2 similar games. I think the Canadians are a much better team than the Senators. A lot of people league-wide have put those teams in the same group of sleeper playoff teams from last year that are ready to take a step this year. I don't really see it with the Sens as much as I do with the Habs. I think the Canadians are so good. And I would encourage anybody to already start finding some tickets for when they come to Nashville in March, because the combination of Cole Caulfield as the goal scorer, Nick Suzuki as his center, then Ivan Demidov, the 19-year-old on the second line making crazy dangles, and then the tiny defenseman Lane Hudson, the rookie of the year, who's probably going to be the best offensive defenseman in the NHL soon and may even have a claim to it already as he starts his second season. Like, that is a good team. But UC Saros is the great equalizer, and he's been amazing in all 4 games he's played so far this year. Ottonen, on the other hand, was really bad in the game he played on Tuesday, which is concerning, but they're going to keep riding Saros, of course, and he keeps them in any game. And I mean, look, Jake, like, the formula is obvious right now. They're going to have to win a lot of games 2-1, and they're going to have to close them out. And we saw that swing in each direction on Monday and then last night.
Yeah, we saw UC Saros. He has been fantastic through the first 5 games, and obviously didn't play on Tuesday in what was a very different game against Toronto. Preds go down 2-0 early and then score twice in 38 seconds. So, Max, for sure, the formula is going to be relying on Saros and taking advantage of your opportunities. But it was good to see, at the very least, that, hey, they got in a hole early against a really good team in Toronto. We're able to dig out of it, but obviously it wasn't enough in the end, a 7-4 loss.
Yeah, they actually dug out of 3 holes the way the game went. And I asked Andrew Brunette about it in our interview for the next game yesterday. And he said, we don't quit. They do not quit. And that's a big difference from last year. How many times did the game get out of reach and it was just over last year for the Preds? And the season was that way too. The season was out of reach, so the season was over and there was nothing to play for. And it affected games as they went on. This year, they're in every game. They were down 2-0. They came right back with 2 goals in under a minute to tie the game up in the second. And then it got out of reach again, a couple of plays with bad bounces and bad goals against. And the Maple Leafs all of a sudden were up 5-2. And against a good team, that may seem like an insurmountable lead, but the Preds kept pushing. They cut it to 5-3 with 4 minutes left, and they pulled the goalie, bobbled the puck, gave up an empty netter, which stung. But then again, they got back within 2 with just over a minute left. So they pulled the goalie again. And then again, immediately, 6-on-5, they lost the puck. So they're going to have to be closer to perfect in those type of situations if they want to pull off the comebacks. But the resolve is there. And the team is bought in a way that they were not last season.
Predators 1-1-1 through the first 3 games of this Canadian road trip. One more game on Saturday against Winnipeg. Before we get to our first break here, Max, Nick Perbix scored his 2nd goal with the Predators last night, and maybe more of an unheralded addition for the Predators this offseason. Haig was more of the big-name guy that they brought in on the blue line. What have you seen from Perbix so far this year that's allowed him to be successful? And yesterday, I mean, pushing the pace, getting up the ice, and putting that one in the back of the net to give the Preds a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, he's been great. And he's made Brady Shea so much better too. I think the first 5 games of this season may have all been better than any single game performance Brady Shea had last year in his first year as a Pred. And of course, Shea deserves credit for that, but I think a lot of the credit goes to Perbix too. And he said he had a friend of his who watched him in college at St. Cloud State tell him he looks like he plays hockey like he's sitting back on a couch while he's playing. And I think it's the perfect way to describe it, because he's so calm and his game is so simple. But then, like you said, Jake, last night he's jumping in the rush, leading the rush after a big save and going and blowing the zone and scoring a go-ahead goal late in the game. So he's now +4. He was -1 last night, and actually he was on ice, and it looked like, based on the coverage, at fault for the first goal against in that game, which was probably a preventable goal. So that's really the first demerit on Perbix's ledger in 5 games as a Pred. But yeah, his under the radar signing. I think look, having watched him play for 2 weeks, I think he's underpaid at the contract the Preds gave him for this summer. And he said he had double-digit teams interested in him, and the Preds got him with $2.25 million a year, which, with the cap going up the way it has this season, That is not a lot of money for a guy who was an unrestricted free agent in his 4th year in the NHL. So I think it's been an exceptional signing. And since you also brought up Nick Hague, I will say that he continues to skate with the team. He is on the road trip this
Yep.
week, which is a great sign. And he could be back as soon as next week. That may be an optimistic timeline, but certainly before the end of October for Nick Hague to make his Preds debut.
Will be great to see him on the ice. And I didn't know Nick Perbick's a proud St. Cloud State Husky. I spent 2 summers up in St. Cloud. Beautiful up there in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Oh, yeah. I
Beautiful
didn't even
St. Cloud,
think about
Minnesota.
that. I knew you were in the woods. I forgot which city. So
Yes.
yeah, he's a stereotypical Minnesota hockey guy in many ways, and St. Cloud is a big part of that.
If I ever get to meet him, I'll have to ask him about MCs and the hairy buffalo that you can get at one of the local St. Cloud State bars down there. 615-737-1025.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes, it's a very interesting drink, I will tell you that, but it's a staple up there in St. Cloud, Minnesota. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have any questions for Max Hers, we're talking Preds for the first hour of the show, as we do every Friday. When we come back, we get into the power play. It's been a little bit of a slog on the power play for the Preds, just 2 power play goals in 19 attempts so far this year for Nashville. Also talk about some of the way that Andrew Brunette has massaged the lines through the first 5 games, and we'll look a little bit deeper into UC Saros' early season success. We'll get that next here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe will be broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday prior to the Monday Night Football games. Monday night matchups are the Buccaneers and Lions and the Texans and Seahawks. Jake Lyman, Max Hers, Parker Kelly with you here on Next Man Up 102.5 The Game. Max from Preds Radio is with us for the first hour of the show. Preds 3/4 of the way through their Canadian road trip finale tomorrow night against the Winnipeg Jets. Max, you mentioned UC Saros and how good he's been through the first 5 games of the year. What have you seen specifically from him and, the guys in front of him who maybe have made it a little bit easier for him to get off to such a strong start this year?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I've heard more than what I've seen. I was finally able to get a chance to talk with him a little bit yesterday, and with the schedule, the Preds hadn't had morning skates for either of the first 2 games of this trip. They hadn't had a practice, so it had been a while since there was full locker room media availability. And our fans know Juice because they hear him interviewed on TV and in the arena after he's the first star of the game. He's not always the most talkative when the microphone and the cameras are rolling. Uh, but when the microphone and the cameras are not rolling, he's a total goalie nerd and he loves talking hockey. He's just doesn't have a huge eye for publicity. But I always like to talk to him at morning skates and at practices just about his game and things he's working on and things like that. And he was quick to credit the changes to the Predators' defensive zone system and D zone structure for his early success this season. And he says the players in front of him with the new system and the tweaks are much more predictable in terms of who's going where, who's going to be cutting which passes off. And the most important thing he says was no more seam passes, leaving him dead to rights, which happened a lot last season and ended up with a lot of easy goals for the other team. And I've said on your show, Jake, I think now all 3 times that I've been on every Friday with you since the season started, last year was not on UC Saros at all. And I think those tweaks, which really weren't that big of a change, they did make changes to the coverage, but nothing revolutionary. Just changes to make sure Saros can see every puck, that defensemen, and if there are forwards down low, always have a chance to box out their guy clean so that Saros can see the shooting lane and have a better chance at preventing rebound goals. And his rebound control has been exceptional so far this season. And it's played out as they've hoped, maybe even better through the first week of the season here. And Saros's numbers prove it. He's made the acrobatic save. He's had moments where he's been down and out and been able to keep the puck out. And I don't really think he's given up a bad goal at any point in his first 4 starts. So it's exactly what it needs to be for UC Saros. And that's the Predators' formula to win. They're going to need that from him, and they're going to have to play the style that suits him the best. And that's what they're doing. And I think it's absolutely the right move and the right thing to do and the best chance to win.
UC Saros through 4 games in net, 8 goals allowed, and 2 of those in overtime, which, 3-on-3, obviously very different than the 5-on-5 regulation. Max, one of the big storylines through the first 5 games of the year has been the struggles on the power play for the Predators. And it's early in the year. You're kind of trying to maneuver through, shaking off some rust, stuff like that. But 2 for 19 on the power play. What's been the problem with the Preds on the man advantage, trying to get the puck in the net? Last night, we're finally able to get their second one in with Steven Stamkos, but why haven't they been able to capitalize more when they get the 5-on-4 opportunities?
Yeah, well, Andrew Brunette has pointed to things other than the scoring part of it, which I think is fair. They have lost a lot of faceoffs to start power plays, which is not ordinary for Ryan O'Reilly, and he takes that really personally. And as I said last segment, they've been kicking guys out of the faceoffs like no other.
Yep.
And this always happens at the beginning of the year. They're tighter on all the stick positioning stuff and the false starts on faceoffs. And I just think it's ridiculous because it slows the game down. And because of that, the Preds have had to go and get the puck to start the power play. And power play breakouts have been a weakness. They were a weakness last year too. And they just have trouble getting in the zone, which is, pretty crazy, especially when you have Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg out there, 2 guys who are great at zone entries and are really hard to knock off the puck and have tons of moves. But Sometimes they've been forced to dump and chase it, and it hasn't worked out well. And even when they do retrieve it, it takes a lot of time for them to do so. So that's what Andrew Brunette has pointed to. I don't think they've been great even when they've been in zone. They're now 2 out of 19 after the goal last night, and the two goals have been big goals. But you got to do more with all the power play time they've had early in these games. And I don't think they're going to change personnel, but I would love to see more looks for Steven Stamkos on that one timer side. Roman Yossi played on the flank some last night, which I like. Played on the right flank, so he's open for one timers. Maybe Marchessault at the point could be an option there. It's been Forsberg. Marchessault's been in the bumper. Um, I don't think they would make any changes just because the five guys on the power play are such big names and it's so early in the season. Um, but it's got to get better because they're not scoring enough 5-on-5 to win games with 5-on-5 goals alone. So they're going to have to start getting a power play goal a night. And in the games that have been tight, opening night, they won it with a power play goal. Last night's game, it felt like the power play goal actually may have been enough until the crazy finish when the Canadians came back. So, yeah, I'm with you. It should be a huge point of emphasis. They've practiced it a ton, but the big problem is just getting in the zone.
Talking with Max Hurst from Preds Radio. He's with us for the full first hour here on this Friday. Max, you mentioned changing up personnel, and Bruno has done that pretty consistently through the first 5 games, mixing up the lines. Yesterday, we saw Steven Stamkos on that top line with Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly. Tyson Jost moves up to the second line. Tyson Jost, I think, has been a pleasant surprise for this team. A guy you get off waivers from Carolina just before the season starts. Started on the fourth line. They move him up with Stamkos moving up to the top line. What have you liked from Jost since he's joined the Preds over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think he's been fine. I think he's done what you would expect him to do. A veteran, reliable guy who can play in any spot in the lineup. And he certainly played more than I expected, but he's played well. And they went with him on opening night, and he hasn't done anything to warrant an exit from the lineup. So, yeah, he's played in a lot of different roles. He's played fourth line. He's played last night with Svechkov and Evangelista, who I think you really got to find a permanent winger for them. Maybe that's Matt Wood, who's now back in Milwaukee, getting healthy and playing in the AHL for the first time, coming back from his preseason injury. So, yeah, as of now, that's Jost. He's going to be the guy they keep moving around until they find a young guy who's really going to stick somewhere, I think.
And on that top line, do you like that combination of Forsberg, O'Reilly, Stamkos, of kind of loading that up and seeing if O'Reilly can find those goal scores?
Yes, I do like that a lot, and I think you got to stick with that. We didn't see enough from Stamkos at even strength with Svechkov in the first few games, so I say load it up. You got to get more from Phil too. Philip Forsberg has a goal and 2 assists so far. One of those assists was the play of the year, working with those two guys to create a breakaway. And Steven Stamkos got really creative and passed out of the breakaway to Ryan O'Reilly, which worked for a goal against the Senators on Monday in Ottawa. And Forsberg's only goal was set up by Brady Martin with some good forecheck in the home game on Saturday against Utah. So, yeah, I think everybody up there needs to do more. So put them together, load it up, help them get some chemistry and stick with it. And when they're together, Haula, Bunting, and Marchessault becomes the second line. So they can play even more. And then you can mess around with the young guys with Svechkov and Evangelista. And the fourth line, you can rely on to keep the puck moving and leave the shift better than they found it.
Yeah, that Stamkos drop back to O'Reilly for the goal felt like the ultimate no, 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 no. Oh, okay. He scored anyway. It's like Steven Stamkos one-on-one with the goaltender. You want him to shoot that puck. It ended up working out anyway. And the Preds got the puck in the back of the net. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Get your questions in for Max Hurst. He's with us until 10 o'clock. We'll continue to talk Preds on the other side. Let's talk some of the young guys. Joakim Kimmel was sent down to AHL Milwaukee. Brady Martin has been a scratch for the last 3 games. We'll get into that coming up next. And again, we'll get to some of your questions on the text line or our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Max Hurst, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday morning. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Heading to Nissan Stadium for the Titans game on Sunday. Stop by John Bon Jovi's before and pregame with 102.5 The Game. JBJ's has the best food on Broadway, cold beer and cocktails, and stunning skyline views, including 2 epic rooftops. The pregame show is brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. Jake Lyman, Max Hers, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday morning, talking hockey for the first hour of the show today. Max, the young guys. Let's start with Joachim Kimmel as he was sent down to Milwaukee yesterday. Why make that move now? Maybe do you see somebody coming up to take that spot? You mentioned Matt Wood down there after being injured during training camp. What do you think the move to send Joachim Kimmel down means? And what did you like from him during his few opportunities up here at the NHL level to start the season?
Well, what I liked was the way he made the team. Without that big hit in overtime on Andrei Svechnikov and then the big goal in the preseason finale, I don't know if he did enough to make the team. He played well. He showed off his shot, which we've seen before. But no, I think he's going to go down. I think he's going to get tons of ice time. And I don't think he was getting the ice time he needed to warrant keeping him here, and especially when he's not playing every game. So I'm fine with Kimmel going down. There's still development to be had for him for sure. And I think that when Matt Wood is ready, that Wood will come up and take one of those spots.
For Brady Martin, who played in his first 2 NHL games at home, but has not played yet on this road trip, what is the thought process from Barry Trotz? Is it, wanting to make sure, and Andrew Burnett as well, to make sure that he's in good situations when they do put him on the ice? Or is it, wanting to extend his time at the NHL level? He only has 9 games to play in, but if you spread those 9 games out, he gets more time practicing with the team and being around the NHL players before he has to head back to juniors.
Yeah, it's both. And the plan has to do with what is best for Brady Martin's NHL future. And it's looked at through a Predators perspective. And I think the biggest thing on Andrew Brunett's mind has been he got to show up in the home games. He performed well. His ice time was limited. Now you really got to be careful with him on the road. And the games this week have been the Senators home opener on Canadian Thanksgiving afternoon, Toronto, with all the eyes of the hockey world watching him in his home province, an hour and a half away from where he grew up, and then Montreal, where the eyes are just as intense and the crowd is as loud as it is anywhere in the world of hockey. And I think that went into the calculus as well. And with that in mind, maybe he does play in Winnipeg tomorrow, but it's hockey night in Canada, another road environment fall into that category. Who knows? But they may be lining him up to play again at home in the 5-game homestand. There's a reason he's still here. He's practicing with the team. He's going out with the players. He was taken to a nice Italian meal by Luke Evangelista in Toronto, and he's working on a lot of little things, especially face-offs. They've been working on with Martin quite a bit after he, not surprisingly, struggled in the 2 games he played at the face-off dot. So there's a reason he's still here. I don't think the Preds are in a rush to send him back, even if they're not going to play him again tomorrow. So I'm sorry to all the Sioux Greyhounds fans out there and their head coach, Terry Crisp, about 40 years ago. But that they're here to make his Predators future the best it can be. And they're happy to have him in the fold. And there's a plan, but they're taking it day by day. And he'll be out on the ice for practice in Winnipeg this afternoon. There hasn't been a practice in a full week with all the games the Preds have played. So we'll see if he's on a line today in practice. We'll see if he gets to go in Winnipeg tomorrow. And if not, we'll see if he's back on the ice at home next week.
I love to hear that Pretty Boy Vincenzo is treating the young guys to a nice Italian dinner while on the road. That's
Yeah,
Luke,
what else is he supposed to do?
right, with the new contract too. You gotta go out and you gotta treat some of the rookies out there. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have any thoughts, questions for Max Hers, we'll get to those in just a second. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Max, you posted the video yesterday of Fedor Svechkov sitting on the bench for a little bit extra and then just weaving through the Pee Wee game that was going out there on the ice. He is such a character. Like, that's a guy who is going to be a fan favorite if he continues to produce on the ice, because he just does things that make you laugh consistently, whether it's in interviews or during games or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, he's got to start producing this year first. He still doesn't have a point this season, and I don't think he's been awful by any means. But I think it is the start that you feared for Svechkov in his
Right.
first NHL season, and it's not like the Preds really have another option for the center in that spot, which sometimes is going to be the second line center. Now it's really the third line center. Now that he's not playing with Steven Stamkos anymore, it's third line minutes. I think Evangelista has been good on Svechkov's right side. And I think that's the bright spot on that line, that Evangelista, after not being in camp, not having the contract, has come in and played well. Svechkov has everything but the on ice results to be a fan favorite here for a long time, but he does need to start producing a little bit more. And Andrew Burdett and Barry Trotz have acknowledged that he's probably in a bigger role than he should have at 22 years old in his first full NHL season. But that's the role he's going to have to play. So he needs to be stronger on the puck. He needs to win a battle or two. He needs to do things offensively. He needs to create. He doesn't have to score goals, but he needs to be a playmaker and a creator, if not. And we've seen very little of that this week. So definitely we'll need more from Svechkov, but I can't say I'm surprised by the way he started. But yeah, going through the Timbits yesterday, he was just like, what is going on? But he stayed on the bench to watch extra film, which I don't think you can knock him for that. In
Right.
Montreal, the visitors bench is not connected to the tunnel of the locker room, and yeah, he had his head down and put his head up, and he was swarmed by the mighty might Timbits in Montreal.
So funny. So funny. But yeah, you can't blame him for sitting out there and wanting to watch a little film before he went into the locker room. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Mark on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, asks, Max, you said that Nick Hague could return as early as next week. Which D-man do you think is the odd man out when he does return?
Mark, that is a great question. Because I was asking that same question to everybody else on our broadcast crew yesterday. I think you've got three options: either Adam Wilsby, Spencer Stastny, or Justin Barron. Um, but I think all three of them have played well. Going into yesterday, I may have actually been tempted to say Barron would come out. And then yesterday morning, they came out with Justin Barron on the second power play. And he actually never got a power play shift because the Preds never got their full second unit on. But that's a good sign that they might stick with Barron. So Stastny has been great. I think Wilsby has played really well with Yossi. I don't think he's played well enough to warrant a permanent spot there once Nick Hague is back, and he's supposed to be Roman Yossi's partner. Uh, so yeah, I don't. Sorry to give you three answers, Mark, but at least I'll give you the validation that I was wondering the same thing. But yeah, I think a week and a half for Hague, maybe we'll see. So 3, 4, 5 games down the road, he could be back.
And that'd be a huge boost as he was up on that top D pair with Roman Yossi when he was healthy during training camp. Mark also asks, what is the biggest strategy difference that Brunette has made from last year to this year?
It's what I was talking about with
That
UC Saros in
right.
the defensive zone. Much more predictable defensively, a little bit safer defensively with their coverages. Guys not really leaving their man, which we saw last year. They do a lot of goals against. So I think that has really settled things down.
615-737-1025. If you have any other questions for Max Hers, we'd be happy to take them on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We got one more segment with Max Hers from Preds Radio. We'll preview tomorrow's game against Winnipeg, and then the Preds coming back home for a while, basically a 2-week homestand. 5 games in Smashville from next Tuesday to Tuesday, October 28th. 615-737-1025. This Sunday, the NFL game of the week is the Commanders versus the Cowboys at 3:25 on 94.9 The Fan. NFL game of the week is presented by Circus Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. Jake Lyman, Max Hers, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game. Jake Lyman, Max Hers, Parker Kelly. One more segment with Max talking Preds as he is up there in Winnipeg. Predators and Jets tomorrow evening to wrap up the 4-game Canadian road trip. We'll get to your questions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. But Max, big game tomorrow. Winnipeg, obviously a very talented team, and you mentioned Hockey Night in Canada. But if the Preds, I think you said it, it's kind of been my thought process too, is if you can get 4 of the 8 possible points on this trip, that feels like a success. If you get the game to overtime at the very least tomorrow night, you get out of this trip with 4 points. How do you feel about the Preds' chances and how they match up with the Jets tomorrow night?
I think it's an okay matchup. The Jets have the two big names at the top of their lineup who are off to amazing starts: Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor. Mark Scheifele is shooting almost 50% to start the season with 5 goals on 11 shots. So that's a good way to start through 4 games. And the Jets are 3-1. They lost their opener in a high scoring game to the Stars, and since then have won 3 in a row. So they're 3-1. Kyle Connor got his big contract last week, right before the season started. So he and Connor Hellebuck are both staying in Winnipeg. They've gotten those deals done the last couple late summers. So that's been big for the Jets. They've got their core now. Connor's got 7 points in 4 games, and Justin Barron's older brother Morgan, who is their fourth line center, actually is up there with those guys on their stats. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists for 5 points in four
Wow.
games. So shout out to the Barron family. Yeah, both guys played well this year. They also have 3 familiar recent Preds on their roster. Nino Niederreiter has been there since the Preds traded him to the Jets 3 years ago. But Luke Shen ended up in Winnipeg at the deadline last year.
Right.
And Gus Nyquist signed with the Jets this offseason. So some familiar names on the other side. And of course, Connor Hellebuck, one of the best in the league in goal.
Yeah, going to be a fun one tomorrow night. Again, 6 o'clock puck drop, 5 o'clock pregame right here on 1025. The game, you can tune in. Max and Hal Gill on the call. Then the Preds return home, a much needed couple of days off on Sunday and Monday. And then you get to come home for 5 straight against Anaheim, Vancouver, LA, Dallas, and Tampa. We talked preseason, Max, about how important an early road trip can be to get this team on the same page, the camaraderie. But I'm sure there has to be some excitement to come home for a week and a half and see if you can start to pile up some points early on in the season against some very talented teams. But again, here in Nashville, if you can defend your home ice, a chance to continue what's been a strong start to the year.
Yes, appreciate Max coming on. And again, he's done a great job on the call for the first 3 games of this road trip. One more tomorrow night, 6 o'clock puck drop, 5 o'clock pregame, right here on 102.5 The Game. That was Max Hers. Appreciate him joining us for the first hour of the show. Always great talking to him as the Preds are coming back home and excited to see 5 straight games in Bridgestone Arena. We will take a quick break here on the program. When we come back, Connor Newt is going to join us. We're going to preview a busy weekend of football. The Titans welcoming Mike Vrabel back to Nashville. And after the coaching change, see if maybe the interim coach bump can match the revenge factor for Mike Vrabel returning to face his former team. And of course, it is a busy weekend of college football. Tennessee and Alabama, Vanderbilt, LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia, USC, Notre Dame. We'll preview all of those games throughout the final 2 hours of the show and much more. Jake Lyman, Max Hurst, appreciate him joining us. Connor Newt will join us next. Parker Kelly here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Yeah.
Second hour, next man up, 1025. The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you for the rest of the show. Appreciate Max Hers from Preds Radio joining us in the first hour. Preds 3 games down up in the Great White North. They got one more tomorrow in Winnipeg, taking on the Jets. Talked a lot of hockey in the first hour. It'll be all football the rest of the way. Titans hosting the Patriots on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. First home game in just about a month. And obviously a lot of big college football games. Tennessee going down to Tuscaloosa, third Saturday in October, taking on Alabama. Vandy hosting LSU. Vandy favored in that game. Ole Miss, Georgia, USC, Notre Dame. We'll get to all of them throughout the rest of the show. Before we get into the Titans here, Connor Newt, how about the 40-year-olds last night in that Thursday night football game?
The Unk Bowl.
I mean,
speaking of unks, I'm 99% sure Joe Rexroad is deaf because this headphone jack was jacked up to max volume.
all the way up. Mine was a little low this morning. Robbie usually has it pretty high, but
yeah, well, Joe had this like trying to make me deaf. I'm going to get hearing aids before he does. But yeah, the Unk Bowl.
The Unk Bowl last night. The Icy Hot Bowl, as I believe TV called it yesterday. Joe Flacco looked like a man possessed out there.
This is what I've learned about Joe Flacco. I use this term a lot, and I'm going to use it in a positive connotation because that's how I think it should be used. He is the ultimate game manager.
Yeah.
When you surround Joe Flacco with elite talent, he's going to give you good results. Look at the talent he was throwing to in Cleveland. Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy. Who would you rather throw the ball to? Those two or Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
It's close.
I mean, it's quite the debate of the century. But look, when you put him in a situation where he's throwing to arguably the best receiver in football, he's probably going to give you some good results.
I mean, Jamar Chase, franchise record, 16 catches last night.
I mean, they force-fed him a little bit, but that's okay. They won the game.
Yeah, it was, Jamar Chase ending fantasy matchups before they even start last night. I want to say he had like 30-something points. So
fortunately, I didn't play him this week.
I did not play him either, thankfully. I don't have him, but
I got Jalen Warren. He got me 20.
Yeah,
so thank
there
you.
you go. Respectable. Aaron Rodgers looked good too. He did. And but Joe Flacco made the plays necessary down the stretch. That throw to T. Higgins to ice the game or to set up the game-winning field goal was just perfect throw over the top, dropped it in the bucket. T. Higgins with the awareness to slide down instead of going into the end zone, allowed the Flacco was on the Browns, the Bengals to kick the field goal with 10 seconds left. And then, Aaron Rodgers, the Hail Mary King, couldn't quite get that one to DK Metcalf.
I wonder if Flacco heard Mike Tomlin's comments about him earlier. Did you hear this?
No.
Basically, they asked Tomlin's opinion on Flacco being traded inside the division, and he's like, well, the Bengals just must be smarter than I am because what has he shown you to tell you that he's a good quarterback at this age? I guess he took it personally.
33-31 final. Bengals get their first win since Joe Burrow got hurt. They're now 3-4 on the year. Steelers fall back to 4-2. And it was a great game last night. One that, on paper, wasn't really sure it was going to be all that competitive. The Bengals have not been good since Burrow went down, but Joe Flacco showed up last night, and the Bengals finally get back in the win column.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I've learned about Thursday night. It's either going to be a horrible, horrible game or it's going to deliver.
Right.
And it's delivered.
The primetime games, I'll give them all credit this year. Outside of a few exceptions, the primetime games have been good.
Yeah. Well, you've got
this season
heavyweight matchups from the start.
Right. You had Lions Ravens and Bills Ravens and
Lions Chiefs.
There's been a ton of good ones. So other big news last night, our old friend Treylon Burks signing to the Washington Commanders practice squad. As someone who grew up outside DC, I've got a lot of friends who are Washington Commanders fans, and they texted me and asked, can Treylon Burks be a good player? I said, if he stays healthy, maybe we'll find out, because he hasn't stayed healthy since he was drafted.
It's like that meme of the broken record player, I think.
Right. It's
broken, but could be fun to fix.
Doesn't work, but could be fun to fix. Yeah, that's kind of what Treylon Burks is. I also mentioned, like, if he also learns how to fall, maybe that would help, because every time he hits the ground, he breaks something. So, I'm rooting for Treylon Burks. I think he's been unlucky, of course, since he got into the league. I mean, the concussions, and he had the knee injury heading into his second year in that Vikings joint practice. And then, of course, last chance this year, he had an opportunity to go try and make the roster, and he breaks his collarbone in the stadium practice the first week of training camp. So, rooting for him. Hopefully it works out, but, so far he has not shown
I mean, it's a low risk. If you were to ask me right now, it's a low risk, low reward move. But, maybe he'll prove me wrong.
Right. I mean, still a talented player. You don't get you don't get drafted as high as he did if you don't have talent.
And Washington's receivers are banged up.
They are.
Terry McLaurin.
Well, we'll see what Treylon Burks. I'm not counting on Treylon Burks ever becoming a consistent contributor in the NFL, but I'm glad that he got another chance, and we'll see what he can do out there in Washington. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take your thoughts, your texts, your calls on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's get into the Titans. Titans with the Vrabel Bowl this weekend. Mike Vrabel returning to town. He will face Mike McCoy in his debut as the interim head coach of the Titans. How you feeling about this one, Connor? You haven't been able to react to all this on the air quite yet. I know you were on Talking with TD with Tehran on Wednesday, but what are your thoughts on the post-Callahan era beginning on Sunday with an old friend, if you want to call him that, coming to town?
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. It's hard for me to care at this point. Like, I'm not as emotionally invested as I have been in years past, and that's just because of how bad they are and how bad I think ownership is handling this whole fiasco. I mean, it's been a multi-year process since John Robinson was fired that is just slowly, well, not even before that, the reason he got fired, trading A.J. Brown, seems like that was the spark of just this downward tragedy spiral that we're going through. So it's hard for me to be completely invested in this one. That said, I don't think it's about wins and losses anymore. I don't think it was about that to begin the year, unless your name was Brian Callahan. But this, where we are right now, is not about wins and losses. It is about, can your interim head coach get something out of your young quarterback? And it seems like Cam Ward likes Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy likes Cam Ward. To me, it's about making this job more attractive for the next guy to come in. Because I don't know about you, I give Mike McCoy almost 0.00% chance of becoming the next Titans head coach.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it this week of the last 3 interim head coaches in the Titans and Oilers franchise history have become the full-time head coach, but the path just doesn't seem to be straight. Like, there is a path for Mike McCoy to become the head coach. And we had a texter yesterday ask, if he goes 10-7, would he be the head coach? I'm like, yeah, if he goes 9-2 the rest of the way, yes, he will be the head coach. But
if I went 9-2 with the roster, I'd probably be the head coach.
So there's a path, but yes, you're right. This is more about seeing if you can make things easier on your young quarterback and get him trending in the right direction heading into year 2. And the good news for Cam Ward is that they already soft launched the firing by making Bo Hardigree the play caller.
Yeah.
So it's like, it won't be as big of an adjustment for Cam Ward on Sunday where, hey, they were able to kind of ease him into this transition where you're still going to have the same guy calling plays for you. It's just a new guy standing on the sidelines with the big headset on. So we'll see what they can do for Cam Ward on Sunday. I'd really like to see the offense just.
What would you do if they go out there first drive of the game, Cam Ward 65-yard bomb touchdown?
I mean,
oh my God, hire Mike McCoy.
No, again, there's too many knee-jerk reactions on all sides of the Titans right now. Everybody wants to overreact, but I would love to see them go take a shot early on. Like the early game planning on offense so far this year has just been so conservative, and you're not allowing your young quarterback to get into a rhythm early on in the game. I would love to see, if you want to bring the 3 tight end set out to start the game, great. But see if you can get a play action shot, give Cam an option if the pressure comes. But it's got to be a different game plan than what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
I just feel it's going to be more of the same. I mean, you have the same play caller that you've had the past few weeks, and he's a little bit better than your head coach that was calling plays, but not by much. Outside of the Callahans leaving, Your staff is entirely the same. So
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing it's going to be a completely different change of pace. Maybe you get that little boost that these guys like TD and I were talking about this Wednesday. These players, I can pull up the clip of Amani Hooker if you'd like. Amani Hooker, with some special
Some
words,
choice language,
some
yes.
choice words, basically said, yeah, this is personal for us. Our coach just got fired, and if we don't start playing better, we're next.
Yeah, the players are going too.
So they're taking this personally. Maybe that comes out with a little bit more fire for the players, especially on defense, because they want to stop this Mike Vrabel team. They have personal relationships with Mike Vrabel, but on the field, you throw all of that away. So maybe there is a little bit of a boost with this firing, but I just have a hard time believing it's going to be much, much different.
Yeah, I think you're right that the interim bump that gets talked about is mostly the wake-up call of like, oh crap, like they just fired the head coach. We've got to start playing better or else our jobs are on the line. So that's part of it. I also just think there might be a stubbornness from Brian Callahan of like, my system's going to work and we're going to stick with the way my system is planned.
Oh, yeah.
And to hear Mike McCoy say it's all about players, not plays, again, it's just words, but I'm hoping we see that on Sunday of doing more things that Cam does well instead of just peppering the screen game over and over and hoping it works.
And you know what the best part about that quote is? You know when it was said? After practice.
Yes.
After.
I know you're a big advocate of the post-practice press conference.
I am indeed. Because what am I going to learn before practice?
Right. And
you've had 24 hours to digest.
Well, and during the season, I don't think it's as big of a deal, but during training camp, yes.
Yeah.
When everybody's eyes are on practice, I'd like to hear from the coach right after it wraps up.
Bingo.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take your texts. We'll take your calls on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. WB in Thompson Station says McCoy will be the head coach next year because he will be cheap. Did I say he will be cheap? I don't know about that. I think Amy and this group knows that
they need a full staff overhaul.
Well, and this head coach decision is not that all of them aren't pivotal, but
they're folding the year.
You're going to lose your fan base heading into that new stadium if this next head coach isn't good. So, like, you've got to get this one right. I don't think they're going to settle for the safe, cheap option. I think they're going to go out and try and find somebody that they think can, at the very least, get their fan base a little bit more involved. Because just as you just said, you don't care. And,
I mean,
I
care.
We sit here with mics in front of our face. Like, we are, quote unquote, the media. But, like, we're fans. We're fans. We're fans of the Titans. And I think that's the sentiment from a lot of Titans fans is just the apathy is starting to set in.
I mean, I care. I want them to win. I will never root for the Titans to lose unless it's an extreme circumstance, like the last week of the season last year.
Right, where it was like, hey.
Oh, the Patriots just won. I would be okay if they lost this because they would get the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
But, of course, I want them to go in this week and beat Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
That's the fan in me. But it's just hard for me to get emotionally invested because I know what to expect.
No, it's the apathy, I think, is starting to set in for Titans fans.
I'm in football hell, and if you can't tell.
If you don't get this next head coach right, I think it goes from temporary to you may start losing fans permanently.
Yeah.
And
let's all go to the Bengals, everyone.
That can't happen. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly BI membership with a buzz is always about great service. We'll continue to talk Titans on the other side. Will they have some juice on Sunday after the firing of Brian Callahan this week? Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5, The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Today from noon to 3, right after us, Jason Big Joe will be broadcasting live from Boston Commons in East Nashville, and we'll have some Preds tickets to give away. It is going to be an action-packed sports weekend in Nashville, topped by Mike Vrabel and the Patriots coming to town. So start your weekend off right and hang with Chase and Big Joe today at Boston Commons in East Nashville. I'm going to the game on Sunday. It is my last real chance to go out to a Titans game before women's basketball season starts. So I am going.
So enjoy the bloodbath.
I am very, very interested to see what the crowd looks like.
Well, I know a lot of people going, actually.
I think it's going to be a good crowd. Like, I don't think it's going to be empty, but
I think a lot of them are going to be wearing navy and red.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. And it was funny. I asked Andrew Allegretta when he was on yesterday about what he thinks the factor of the crowd at Vanderbilt's going to be tomorrow, because LSU, that is a fan base that is known to travel. Like look at the Jello shot challenge in Omaha anytime they go. They just wipe the floor with everybody. But he was like, you know what, Jake? Like, this isn't just a Vanderbilt problem. It's a Nashville problem. I was like, yeah, you're right. I think Nissan Stadium is going to be 60% Patriots fans on Sunday. And there's not going to be a Mike Vrabel tribute. Why
would they?
Yeah, I'm coming around on it. I had thought maybe they would. And I do think that if the Titans were good and it felt like they won the breakup, they would do it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look at how much better we are now. Yeah,
if they were to do it, that is Amy submitting herself and saying, we're sorry.
Right.
We were wrong.
No, she's not. They're not.
They won't do that.
But I wonder what the reaction is going to be like. Not that they're going to announce him on the field, but they're going to, when he runs out, is it going to be a big cheer? Not just from the Patriots fans, but from everybody.
I kind of lean that way.
I think so too.
Because I think they miss him. And I do too. Because I love Mike Vrabel.
And I don't want this to seem like we're having, we're revisionist history and saying that Mike Vrabel should have never been fired.
No, I mean, he deserved to be fired.
I think you look back now and you say, yeah, maybe it was a mistake and he should have gotten one more year. But when it happened, he had lost 18 of 24. Like, it wasn't like it was
refused to change his staff.
It wasn't like it was this huge thing where it's like, oh my gosh, they fired Mike Vrabel the year after he won Coach of the Year. It's like, no, he lost 18 of his last 24 games.
And clearly still refuses to choose. Or change. Look at how many coaches he has from here that are on his staff right now.
9.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not trying, it's not revisionist history, but I think you look back and, hindsight's 2020 and you say, yeah, maybe they should have given him another year. Again, you can't go back and change that. I do think when they announce Mike McCoy, I think he's going to get a pretty big cheer too.
He will.
Yeah.
And it's not because, yay, we love Mike McCoy. It's, yay, Brian Callahan is gone. We're not hearing his name in that spot anymore.
Right. So it'll be an interesting game on Sunday, to say the least. I don't have high hopes for the Titans, but I said this with TD yesterday. Again, you mentioned it to start the show. It's not about wins and losses.
Yeah.
It is about, does it look better? Yep. Right? They could lose this game 38-17, which is that would be my pick. But if Cam Ward is in rhythm and they have a couple of drives that look competent, maybe even early on in the game, I think you can come out of it and say, all right, at least you can see that there was progress, even if they lose the game by 3 touchdowns, because Mike Vrabel is going to try and run up the score.
I mean, I'll tell you this, if they come out there in the first drive, they run 3 straight drive plays with Tony Pollard, I may throw my remote at the television screen.
The first 5 play calls in Las Vegas on Sunday were so frustrating.
Infuriating.
3 straight runs, back-to-back screen passes.
Can we just go away from the screen game if you're the Titans?
You can't go away from it completely, but like,
not every other
play. You don't need to run it as often as they do when
they don't
none
have
of
the
them
guys.
have worked. I said yesterday, I'm ready to catch the strep.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're getting there?
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I want to see how this offense looks as it is under Mike McCoy. But if it looks the same or worse, I'll catch the strep with you.
I don't.
What do you have to lose?
I don't think he's playing Sunday. They put out the video yesterday that he was Keyshawn Booty in practice.
You're gonna get me on a rant. It's Boutte.
Really?
Yes, that's what it was at LSU.
See, I heard the CBS announcers last week called him Keyshawn Booty.
They're wrong.
I'm sure they're not getting their
we had Mike Reese on.
Okay. It is Boutte?
No, he said Booty. And I'm like, you're wrong. It's Boutte.
Are you 100% sure about that?
I am 1,000%.
All right, we're going to check that during the next break.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
But it was funny. Like, TD put out the video. You don't see number 9 at practice for the Titans. But Xavier Restrepo was wearing number 9 yesterday. So I wouldn't think that he's going to play if he's Keyshawn Boutte this week. But maybe next week you could see him out there.
I think they hold off until after the bye. They'll reassess at the bye and be like, yeah, what do we got to lose? Throw him out there.
I mean, Tyler Lockett is just what does Tyler Lockett do better?
You want to talk Unk?
Right.
He looks like Unk out there.
Well, and Xavier Restrepo, I don't know if you can
he can't be much worse.
Can you take his word for it? But he said that he reached 21.5 miles per hour yesterday. New record, he said. So, just putting it out there. 7008 says, I think you guys are underestimating how fired up the team will be with the new leadership. It looked a lot like, to me, they just weren't trying. And I think that's due to the coach and his method and his leadership. I'm not saying the team will win Sunday, but they're going to have to become grown men and get tired of being embarrassed every week and stand up and fight back. I think changing the coach sends the message that everyone's now playing for their job. And I could see it, right? Like,
maybe so. Yeah.
I heard Robbie say this on Monday. This was before Brian Callahan was fired. Like, have some pride. Go out there, and everyone is picking you to get embarrassed on Sunday. Adam Rank picked them to lose 59-0. He went back to the snow game and picked them to lose 59-0.
I don't think they're that good.
I agree. Have some pride. You may lose the game, but I'm saying 38-17 because I think Vrabel, it could be 24-17 late, but he's going to go try and put 2 more touchdowns on the board. I would love to see them keep it within 1 score. You don't like moral victories, but where the Titans are right now, you kind of have to take some of them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Vrabel is ever going to lose this game on Sunday. But
yeah, that's why I'm don't underestimate how fired up his guys are going to be, because he's had this game circled for 2 years. Like he's been ready.
Yeah.
He's been dreaming of coming back to Nissan Stadium and embarrassing that team.
Right. So I don't have hope that they win the game, but I agree with you, Texter 7008. Like, have some pride, show some energy after the coaching change, and at least make this a game. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Dustin from Hopkinsville says, if they haven't done it by today, they're not elevating him this week. I don't get it. Why not see him in a game? Place up, catch a pass, run 5 plays, let him on the field. There's nothing to lose. They do the practice squad elevations on Saturdays, so it's not.
Yeah, but I'm with him. I don't think you're going to see it this week.
I don't think it's this week, but I hope sometime soon.
And right? Don't you think you would get a report from TD or someone saying, Xavier Restrepo is taking first-team reps right now?
Well, they wouldn't. I don't think he would be taking first-team reps. Even if you elevate him, he's not going to immediately be your slot wide receiver starting.
It's hockey season.
Right.
I'm in football hell right now, man. Like the Titans and Kentucky. I need something.
Yeah, Vandy.
I need joy.
My adopted team, Vandy, is keeping me alive because the Hokies are horrible.
I'm going to Kentucky next week.
There you go.
I'm excited to be there, but I'm not excited for the outcome I think is coming.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Mike on the text line says, I'm telling you right now, the Titans win by 3. Y'all owe me a lunch if the Titans win by 3.
What if they win by 4? Do you owe us lunch?
If you're picking them to win by 4, I like it, Mike. I like the optimism. Apparently Joe Rexroad picked the Titans to win too.
Low T for Joe this week.
Yeah.
Way to go, Rexy.
So now I've got 2 bets, I guess. I owe Mike lunch, and then me and New York Doug have the pie in the face bet about
New York Doug.
New York Doug every day this week has been texting in. We have a bet about who's going to be the better quarterback, Ward or Dart.
I didn't know we had a New York Doug.
New York Doug says this week it's cherry pie, I think he said, and
Yeah.
then next week would be pecan pie. So
So if you win, are you going to blast him on Nashville Radio?
I will not. Yeah, no. It's friendly over here. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will talk more Titans later on in the show, but this week, with everything going on, college football hasn't gotten its due, and we've got a great slate, especially locally. So we're going to get into the college slate coming up next, starting with Tennessee and Alabama. I think the game of the week. I know Ole Miss Georgia is a great game too, but Tennessee Alabama, the rivalry, this one's going to be fun. We'll talk about it coming up next. We'll also talk Vandy and LSU and all the other big games across Saturday. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
There you go. Back on track.
The theme for the show on Fridays, every single week.
WGF, baby. We love it.
Tomorrow's college football game of the week is number 14 Oklahoma against South Carolina at 11:45 a.m. on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circus Sportsbook Kentucky. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Pivoting away from the Titans for a little bit here. Let's talk some college football. Lots of big games.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of big games tomorrow. Going to be a fun day. Talking with Corey Curtis on Wednesday. News 2 is the destination for pretty much all of it. You got Vandy LSU at 11, followed by Ole Miss Georgia, Tennessee Alabama, the nightcap. And let's start with that game. Tennessee and Alabama, they have had some classics over the last couple of years.
In a new time slot this year.
Yes, not the afternoon. They get the night game down in Tuscaloosa. The Vols have played with their food a little bit over the last couple of weeks. You know, Mississippi State, good team. They were undefeated heading in. That's a tough place to play in Starkville. You go to overtime, you're able to win that game. Arkansas, you're up 17 in the fourth quarter with a chance to kind of put your foot on their throat and end this game, and you let them back within 3. Never really was in doubt, but, you know, let Arkansas back into it. It's going to be a really interesting game this week with Ty Simpson playing the way he has for Alabama. They've got 3 straight ranked wins. Tennessee needs this one to keep themselves with some leeway to get into the college football playoff. I'm really intrigued to see how this game plays out tomorrow in Titletown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going into this one completely impartial. I don't care one way or the other because I just want a good game. I want to see good football. Like you said, Tennessee is screwing around with some stuff a little bit. They're especially on defense, and they're going to be missing some key pieces. Jermod McCoy still isn't playing.
Still not back.
So that's tough on them, and it looks like for Alabama on the offensive side, Jam Miller is going to play.
Yep.
Coming back from a concussion. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two sides stack up. But like you said, I mean, it seems like since that 22 game, every time these two teams get together, there's some fireworks. So I expect more of the same from this game. If you were to ask me, actually, I'm not going to tell you because I'll save that for about an hour.
Monday headlines coming up at 11:30. Going to be a fun one.
But I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm curious to see how Ty Simpson plays against this defense. He's been playing at a Theismann level.
Yes, a Theismann level.
Theismann level. So far this season, and his connection with Ryan Williams started off a little bit shaky in that Florida State game, and it's kind of grown over time, and you kind of saw it in full effect last week against Missouri. So it's going to be fun to see how that works out. The Alabama receiving core is just loaded as always.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't name them wide receiver U. I think that's probably the team out in Columbus, but
LSU would have something to say about that too. Those two for sure.
It's probably those two, but they're probably number 3 if you were to ask me. So that's interesting to watch. Defensively, I think Alabama has had some trouble stopping the run as of late. So if the 3-headed monster of Tennessee can get things going, maybe that could be cause for some damage. And then Joey Aguilar, how does he stack up in a tough road SEC environment over in T-Town? A lot of interesting storylines.
Yeah, going to be a fun one. Again, that is the 6:30 game on ABC. Parker, I pretty much every week with Tennessee this year, I've had a gut feeling about which way the game's going to go. Like, I felt good about their chances of playing with Georgia, and obviously, you know, they had the field goal to win it. I thought Mississippi State felt like a trap game. That one went to overtime. See, last week, I had a blowout. I thought Tennessee was going to wipe the floor with Arkansas. And, you know, they were in control of that game. How are you feeling about the game tomorrow? Because I don't know which way this one's going to go.
Well, I was at the game last week, and Tennessee's run defense and defense in general was just piss poor, to be honest. But the injuries in the secondary really concern me because Alabama is a team that has not made a living off of running the football. I think they've had one game in which their running back, Jam Miller, has had over 100 yards. So they've lived off of the passing game. And I really think Alabama is going to be able to exploit that on Saturday. Here's the thing. I think this game is going to be really close in the first half, but then I think there's going to be this big back-breaking play for Tennessee's defense in the second half. And I think from that point, it's going to be the Tide.
Yeah, I could see that, where maybe it's 17-14 Alabama at halftime, something like that. And then Alabama gets a big play to go up 10 and just kind of never looks back from there.
Spread's a little high, though.
It is. It's
7.5.
It's about the same as it was when Vandy went down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very similar about those two games of like, hey, this isn't a must-win game for Tennessee. Like, if Tennessee loses this game, they still have everything they want to accomplish in front of them. But I really do think that Tennessee, if they win this game, puts themselves in a great spot to make the playoffs. What is going on back there? It's Chase. Okay.
I made a uh-oh. I don't think it got caught on camera, so we're good. But I'll tell you during the break. Yeah, it's
number one.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that at all.
No, well, I'm watching the replay up in New York.
Well, it's okay. The YouTube stream, as long as you didn't say it on
yep, we caught it. Yep, we caught it.
It's fine.
Yeah, well,
YouTube doesn't have FCC rules.
Yeah, no, we're fine on YouTube. I've lost my complete train of thought.
We have gone off the rails. The suit has walked into the studio, and Connor.
That is totally on me, but so worth it.
Well, it's going to be a profile picture for someone at some point. So
it is being screenshotted at this very moment.
Oh, what a turn here.
I just told Chase what number he is.
Yes.
The nice thumbs up.
I think the listeners out there, we're painting the picture for them.
I should have gone farther out. I didn't even realize the camera's in front of me.
You sometimes forget you're on camera sitting in these seats.
Yeah.
It happens.
Now I see why, what's his name? Wears suits in the studio.
Yeah.
Pellegrino. Yeah. He wears suits for Penalty Box Radio.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Talking college football here late in hour number 2. The Commodores will take on LSU tomorrow. Pregame begins at 9:30 on 1025 The Game with kickoff at 11 a.m. Vanderbilt football is brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. We will try and compose ourselves in here, and we'll talk Vandy on the other side. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
Oh, Ariana.
Next man up 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday. Parker, spinning it back there.
Oh my God. I was going to request some Ariana from you today.
In terms of versatility, Parker might be the best DJ back there.
Yeah. You're number one.
His words, not mine.
But did you hear Ian Safar's Vrabel mashup from this morning?
I didn't.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll have to go back.
Maybe we'll play it at the end of the show. It is so good.
Robbie said it the other day, and I've seen it in action. There are days when you can just tell Ian is proud of his mashup. I would assume today was probably one of those
this
days.
one may have been his masterpiece. It was so funny.
He's number one.
It was almost all Vrabel.
You're all number one. I just showed you.
Yeah. If you're watching the stream, Connor thinks you're the best. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's talk Vandy and LSU right here in Nashville tomorrow at First Bank Stadium, 11 a.m. kickoff. You can listen in to the radio call with Andrew Allegretta, Norman Jordan, and Kevin Ingram at 9:30 when pregame starts. This is a huge game, and Vandy favored against an SEC team for the first time in 51 tries.
Ranked.
2.5 point. No, 51 tries against an SEC. It was 100 and something ranked SEC team. That was the Barstool account that messed that up.
Yeah, that's why I saw a lot of Vandy fans and players upset about that.
The last time Vandy was favored in an SEC game was actually against Tennessee back in 2018. That sounds right.
Yeah, that was that Butch or Pruitt? That was Butch.
It was Butch's last year.
Yes.
I think. Yes. So yes, 51 straight SEC games. It was like 170 something ranked SEC games. But Vandy is the favorite over LSU tomorrow, and this could be a statement game for Vanderbilt, where I think a lot of people were ready to take their victory laps after they lost in Tuscaloosa of like, oh, it is Vanderbilt. You guys were telling us that they could be a playoff contender. Vandy can put themselves right in the thick of the college football playoff conversation if they beat LSU tomorrow.
Yeah, and this is the kind of game where if Vanderbilt can win on defense, they can win the game because LSU's offense has been struggling all season. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier, we thought was going to be the best quarterback in the nation headed into the season. And like a lot of the quarterbacks across college football, he hasn't really shown that. Their offense is struggling. So if Vanderbilt's defense can play the way that they're supposed to play, this could get interesting. I trust Vanderbilt's offense to go out and produce to the level that they are capable of producing because they've not shown me anything telling me that they can't. It's a matter of, can you win on both ends of the football? I think if you do that, you have a great chance of winning this game.
Yeah, and I think for Vandy, a lot of it is about just playing their game. Against Alabama, I think the Tide got them out of their game plan a little bit.
Yeah.
Only 6 rushes for their running backs, and that's something they lean on. Pavia is the focal point. Pavia running the football is a big part of this offense too, but getting contributions from Cedric Alexander and A.J. Newberry and M.K. Young and James L. Lassiter, like all those guys have to be factors in the game plan. Vandy was taken out of that against Alabama. You make the mistakes down in the red zone, you end up losing by 16 points. But there's an opportunity coming off the bye week to clean up some of those mistakes and get back to playing your game. I think this is going to be a close game right down to the wire. Like I usually like to make a pick on these Vandy games. I don't know if I can because I think it's going to be, 3 minutes left in the game, tie game, 1 possession game. Somebody's got to go make a play to win a football game. So I'm excited to see it. I'll be over there tomorrow morning and we'll see if Vandy can do it, get to 6-1. It's not going to get any easier from here on out. You've still got Missouri. You've still got Texas. You've still got Auburn.
Don't leave them out.
Kentucky.
Yeah, don't leave them out.
And you got Tennessee to end the year. But you got to start with one. Like this is a big game for Vandy to keep yourself with some cushion to get into the playoffs. You got to win tomorrow. And it's a huge one.
Yeah, and kind of to harp on the play your game point you made, what I've learned about Vanderbilt over the past couple of years is they like to take their time. They like to drain the clock a little bit, and they play up-tempo offense, but they like to let it marinate a little bit. Let the clock run out and play your game. Keep doing that because LSU is capable of going up-tempo, not taking a lot of time off the clock and scoring pretty quickly. If you let them control the pace of the game in your home stadium, I'm not going to say you're going to lose that game, but the momentum will always be in their favor, and they're capable of capitalizing on momentum.
Right. And you look at those Alabama games for the last 2 years, there's a right around 20-minute difference in the time of possession in the game that Vandy won versus the game that Vandy lost. So if you're able to hold on to the football, make sure you leave Nussmeier and those talented players off the field. I mean, your guy Barian Brown making his return to
wide
Nashville.
receiver 6 on LSU.
So, if you can keep that talented offense that has underperformed off the field, gives you a chance to control the game and see if you can go win. What's the reaction from Brian Kelly? What's the reaction from the LSU fan base?
How high does his water bottle go?
Right. And how does the LSU fan base react? Because, here in Nashville, we know that this Vandy team is way more talented than previous editions of Vanderbilt football.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of LSU fans that probably are thinking it's Vanderbilt.
Same old Vandy.
And if Vandy beats them tomorrow, I think that seat starts to get nice and warm for Brian Kelly.
I think it's already nice and warm. If he misses the playoff this year with this roster and that quarterback coming back who has not played to the level he's capable of playing, then it's going to be nice and warm. Happy Valley may give him a call.
Yeah, because based on what we saw yesterday, Kurt Signetti signs an extension.
Yep.
He's not going anywhere.
I mean, if you had to ask me, this is so off topic, but if you had to ask me right now who the front runner for that job is, it's probably Matt Rule.
Matt Rule basically said yesterday he's not going anywhere. I agree that maybe it's just negotiating tactic.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't signed an extension, but
I like Matt Campbell there too.
Right.
I've been listening to Parker talk about it. I like Matt Campbell.
I think he's probably towards the top of that list as well. I've seen Clark Lee get mentioned for that job. And first of all, yes, I don't think Clark Lee is leaving. And also for Penn State, do you go back to the well, right? Like you just fired James Franklin, who came from Vanderbilt. Are the fans going to rally around another Vandy guy? Like even if it's a good hire, like
they're similar to Florida in that they want an established guy.
Right. And just the idea of really we're going back to Vandy. Like I've seen Virginia Tech fans who, when James Franklin,
you're gonna love Mark Stoops, man.
I saw a rumor that Mark Stoops was in Blacksburg last week, and I really hope it's not
You're
true.
gonna love him. He's an upstart, young defensive mind. You're gonna love it.
Well, so Virginia Tech fans don't want James Franklin strictly because he's from Penn State, and Brent Pry was from Penn State too. And I'm like, that's not a good way to think about it, but I also understand that that's probably what Penn State's thinking is, we're not going to go back to Vandy. And even if offered it, I don't think Clark takes it.
No, I think he's working his dream job and he'll leave when he's ready to leave.
I mean, Clark is the hire that Candace Story-Lee and Vanderbilt, like they needed a guy who
he played here,
doesn't view it as a stepping stone job.
He played here. He lives here, obviously. He said on multiple occasions he's always wanted to coach here.
Right.
I don't think he leaves until he's ready to leave.
Right. I mean, you heard it on the SEC Any Given Saturday documentary of I came here with the idea that I was going to be the savior of this program. And I think that's
so far he has.
Right. Scott on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com says our tailgate starts at 3 a.m.
Oh,
for
yes.
the Vandy game tomorrow. He says we are fired up. In the wise words of the great poet Jake Owen, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
What are you guys doing? Are you bringing the TV? Or are you just gonna?
That's
hang out there. It's nice and cool tonight.
That's awesome. 3 a.m. tailgate. I would say the earliest I've ever started tailgating was probably 6-ish. Right, like noon starts are tough because you got to get up and you got to get moving. 3 a.m. That's dedication right there.
I respect the absolute
Scott,
crap out of that.
I send in some pictures of your tailgate in like the wee hours of the morning, and we'll see those. Connor will see those tomorrow on Weekend Huddle.
Yeah,
I would love to see what's going down at 3:30 in the morning.
Are you guys bringing the Xbox? Are you gonna get a little pregame college football 26 going? I mean, I need to see what's going on here. And do I need to stop by is the question.
Yeah. Dustin from Hopkinsville makes a good point. Why even go to bed at that point? Start your tailgate at 5 o'clock on a Friday.
Bring the mobile coffee maker.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Nothing a few Red Bulls can't fix. Just get some caffeine, get it rolling. 3 a.m. tailgate for Scott. I love it. Vandy, 11 a.m. kickoff against LSU tomorrow. You can listen in right here on 102.5 The Game at 9:30. Lots more games. We've gone through the local ones, but a couple other big ones across college football tomorrow. We'll talk about those coming up next. We'll do our Monday headlines at 11:30 and wrap up previewing the Titans and Patriots. All of that coming up in the final hour of the show. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game final hour on this Friday. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. It is going to be a great day of football tomorrow. You got Tennessee and Alabama in the nightcap. We're about to talk about Georgia and Ole Miss. That is the afternoon game on ABC.
I can't wait for that one.
And you got Vandy LSU at 11 a.m. And Scott on our text line. I'm enamored by the idea of a 3 a.m. tailgate. Scott has followed up with his plan for this Vandy tailgate. He says, not sure what the rest of the group is doing, but I plan on being asleep at 9 p.m. Alarm is set at 2 a.m.
Oh, yes.
2 griddles going for bacon, pancakes, eggs, and biscuits, casseroles and sandwiches later, and the libations will start early.
I want to be friends with Scott.
Here's what you need to do. You need to get that griddle going at about 1 a.m. That way you can wake up to the smell of crackling bacon.
Yes, just don't step on it.
I'm so glad you
Just
understood
do
that.
not step on it.
I'm so glad you got that.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, if I didn't have to work the game tomorrow, I might be asking Scott where his tailgate is and see if I can pop by at 4 a.m.
I mean, this is Scott, you're number one in the good way.
I love it. And I hope Vandy fans are following Scott's lead. Get out there, get ready, excited for what should be a fun game against LSU tomorrow. Coming up after Vandy LSU, Ole Miss Georgia, top 10 matchup in Athens. Game day will be there. We were just talking about Penn State a little bit. James Franklin doing an interview on game day.
I will be locked in on that.
Yeah.
To the best of my ability.
Well,
I'll be on the air, but
I'll be up in the booth. Maybe we'll have to, you know what? I would think maybe the volume would be turned up already on that with James Franklin speaking, just to, you know, I'd love to hear what he has to say about what his next steps are, because
what if he goes ballistic? Why do they do that?
I cannot believe how fast things change, because guess what?
So fast.
He was on game day 3 weeks ago, getting ready for a top 10 matchup,
bringing Nick
in Happy
Saban a
Valley.
onesie.
Right. Like that was 3 weeks ago. And 3 weeks later, he is going to be on game day talking about why he was fired.
Yeah. And look, he's got to go find another job. It's in his clause, I think, that if he doesn't go find another job,
right,
then his buyout decreases from like 53 million to 18 or something.
Right.
Like that.
So he has to go and try and find another job in either coaching or broadcasting.
Yeah.
And whatever his salary is gets deducted from the payouts from Penn State.
That's genius
So,
for them.
Well, no, that's all schools. And that's the same case in the NFL too. That's why John Robinson hasn't gone back yet. That's why Rand Carthon is on CBS, because, and for them, it's different. I don't think the broadcasting comes out of it.
Well, John's tried, right? Because he was interviewing for that.
He
Jets
tried.
GM
He tried
job
last year, but for the first 2 years, he was just collecting his paychecks.
Yeah,
which, you know, I don't blame him.
James cannot do that.
James cannot do that. He has to go do it. Now, could he bomb all the interviews and say, sorry, couldn't get the job? Money, please. Yes, he could, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think James Franklin will have a job.
I did too. I mean, Chase and I were having this conversation a couple days ago. I think a team to look at is the team down in Gainesville.
I think Florida makes the most sense. And 1524 on the text line actually just texted and asked, is tomorrow Billy Napier's last game at Florida?
I think they have two names, James Franklin and the guy that plays Georgia tomorrow,
Lane Kiffin.
Choo-choo.
I agree.
That's
I wrote this on the grid. I was pretty proud of it for Georgia tomorrow. Who's that coming down the tracks?
Who's that coming down
we're not
the
doing
tracks?
We're not doing the whole thing.
It's the lane train.
That's
the
good.
lane train's coming down the tracks.
That's good.
I kind of like Ole Miss tomorrow.
It depends on their quarterback play.
Right.
Because they played Washington State last week, only won by 3. Trinidad Chambliss he probably played his worst game of the season against a really bad Washington State.
Yeah, that game should not have been close. They were favored by 35 or something like that, and won by 3.
31.5.
Yeah. Crazy. So I think a bounce back game could be in the cards for Ole Miss. I haven't been all that impressed with Georgia. Right?
No, me neither.
Obviously they're talented. Kirby Smart's a great coach, but it just doesn't feel like they're the same Georgia that we've seen the last couple of years.
They honestly, I'm not an Auburn fan, but they should have lost to Auburn.
I mean, Auburn should have been up 17-0 early. I mean, it was really close. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but Yeah, I can see why they didn't overturn that because they didn't have a lot. But after we saw a couple hours later, the ball clearly crossed the plane. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Auburn should have gone up 17-0 at the half. And then we have the whole Kirby Smart timeout fiasco,
Right.
where they should have been charged
I'm clapping.
a timeout and, a loss of downs. I have not been impressed with Georgia.
Yeah, I lean Ole Miss. I do. I lean Ole Miss. I think it's going to be a good game, but
I just worry about them playing in Athens.
yeah,
That's why I'm kind of leaning Georgia for this one, because Athens is still a tough place to play. Those guys, they bark at you. They're crazy.
yeah, no,
So-
that is true. I mean, there is a reason why Georgia before that Alabama game had won 33 straight home games,
Yeah.
something like that.
It was the longest active streak in college football.
And was Oregon the second longest? And
And then they lost.
they lost. So
So now Alabama holds it, right? The longest active home winning streak.
home winning streak. Punch
Think-
my mic.
I
think it's
actually don't know.
Alabama. I think-
I can look
Right,
it up.
because we've lost two. We've lost two in the last 3 weeks. I mean, I was shocked that Oregon lost to Indiana.
Do you know who has the
Um,
longest active home losing streak in the SEC?
Kentucky.
Yes.
Yes, it's Alabama.
I thought so.
15 consecutive wins at home.
So, but guess what? Guess who was the third longest active home winning streak heading into Georgia losing to Alabama? So Georgia was number 1 at 33. Oregon had 18 before they lost last week. Guess who was next?
Boise
Vanderbilt.
State.
Missouri.
Wow.
Missouri with 15 straight home wins before losing to Alabama last week.
That's because they don't play anyone.
But then it's Alabama. Boise State is tied with Alabama, or one behind Alabama. And then it's Indiana with 12.
Yeah. I thought Indiana would be on that list.
Miami is also after that. Miami plays Louisville tonight.
I mean, you and I have talked about this a little bit. Oregon, I still think is safe to make the playoff. I'm changing your 3 a little bit. Ohio State, I think, is a lock.
Yeah.
Miami, I think, is a lock. Indiana.
Yep.
Indiana
might not lose the rest of the year. They may be 12-0 heading into the Big Ten championship against likely Ohio State.
I mean, they do have a favorable schedule, I guess you could say. Not as favorable as last year's was. It's still a little difficult.
yeah, but the only team
but they're
left on their
better.
schedule that's like talented. I mean, I'm sure there's talent on all these teams, but like a team that you look at and you say, yeah, they could stack up with Indiana is Penn State, and who knows what Penn State's going to look like.
And they don't
the
have
rest of the
their
year.
quarterback.
Right, Drew Aller's
Drew
out
Aller's
for the
out.
year. So, honestly, we could see a 12-0 Indiana heading to
That is
heading to
absolutely
the Big
crazy
Ten
to think about.
championship to take on Ohio State.
That is wild to think about.
Crazy. And Kurt Signetti just signed an 8-year extension yesterday, so he will not be
93
heading to Happy Valley.
million.
Crazy. I mean,
They're a good team. They're a really good team.
just disappointing. I said it last week. Disappointing that Virginia Tech had Kurt Signetti 2 hours up the road and thought he was too old to be the head coach at Virginia Tech.
Now he's going to coach there till he's 70.
72, I think, right? Because he's
70.
64 right now?
I thought he was 62.
Somewhere in there. Still
He's
into
in
his
his
70s. Yeah. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have thoughts, you can text or call our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will predict our Monday headlines coming up at the bottom of the hour. I got some good ones today.
I do too.
I'm excited for this coming up at 11:30.
He is 64. Good job.
64?
Yeah.
I think I saw that on Twitter or something yesterday.
Good job.
Coming up next, there is one more game that it's not on ABC, maybe not getting the headlines that it should, but I think is a college football playoff elimination game. You know, you could argue that it's not, but I'm going to say that it is up in South Bend. As
I
Lincoln
knew you were going there.
Lincoln
I knew you were
Riley
going
takes
there.
the Trojans in to face the Irish. We will talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
This is the best one you've ever done. Oh, Tate.
Oh, this is Tate.
This is early Tate.
This was I love that the hockey guys all know Tate McRae.
I wonder why.
She's Canadian.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah.
I think I said this on the air. Maybe it was with Max about the Washington Capitals did a celebrities we don't think our players will know, and they did a whole bunch of them. And the last one was Tate McRae, and all of them like, oh, it's Tate McRae. Every single one of them knew who
no
it was.
specific reason.
Yeah. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. A few more segments on this Friday. Chase and Big Joe are coming up at the top of the hour live from Boston Commons.
Boston Commons.
Where I'm sure there'll be some Patriots fans out there.
Wait, that was more New York. Boston
Commons.
Dunkin'
Donuts.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that was Canadian a little bit.
Canada guy.
So there should be fun out there. Mike Vrabel making his return to Nashville on Sunday. We're talking some college football. We'll do our Monday headlines coming up at the bottom of the hour. We will try and predict something that's going to happen in the Titans game, something that's going to happen throughout college football, the NFL, hockey, wherever you want to go with it for the second one. But there is one game that I don't think is getting enough love this weekend, and that's USC Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a couple of plays away from being 5-0. And again, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a happy Christmas. Is that what the old saying is?
I don't know, Grandpa. I've never heard that before.
Can you repeat that one more time?
I'm not going to say it.
I heard that right.
Not going to say it again. Anyway, they're 3-2. They lost. They lost to Miami. They lost to Texas A&M.
And if Tyler Buckner can hold the ball, they beat
right.
A&M.
So they're very close to being an elite team, but obviously you have 2 losses on your record. They're sitting back at 16th in the country right now. So this is an opportunity against what has been a high-powered USC offense to go out and get yourself maybe not a signature win, but a quality win that says to the committee and says to fans, all right, this team is still legit. They came up a couple plays short against Miami and A&M, but this is still a playoff team if they can win out the rest of the way. But USC, I mean, I was impressed by what they did to Michigan last week.
Yeah, I'm still not in on USC all the way. I think it was more Michigan is not the Michigan of 2 years ago as it is USC is that good. I mean, they're a good offense. They've got a lot working for them, and you're always going to have a good offense when Lincoln Riley is your coach because that's what he does.
Yep.
Defense is their weakness. And I think if Notre Dame can take advantage of that, Notre Dame's got a great offense as well. I mean, Jeremiah Love is probably the best running back in the country. CJ Carr is playing on a pretty high level from the quarterback position, and you're connecting with your receivers and Jaden Greathouse as well. So I think if they can play the way that they're supposed to play, they should beat USC. My thing is don't get into a shootout with them.
Yeah.
Because they are prone to get into shootouts, and USC, they have the offense to beat you in that. So you just got to win on the defensive end of the football.
Yeah, this is a game that you want to keep it in the 20s, right? Like Notre Dame wants to win this game 27-23 or something like that. If it gets into the 30s and 40s, that's when you wonder if Notre Dame can keep up with this USC offense. So going to be very interesting tomorrow. Lots of big games with a ton that could affect the college football playoff. And we're getting close to those first rankings coming out, right? Like, is that 2 weeks away?
Yeah, when we just completely forget that the AP poll exists.
Right.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's the College Football Playoff Committee should do their whole rankings throughout the season.
So they do it week 10 is the first one, right? So
yeah,
we're getting
first
close.
week or the first Tuesday in November.
Right.
Okay.
So we're like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're right. When you look at it, you say, all right, you feel good about Ohio State with what they've done so far this year. Miami has obviously looked good. Big one tonight for Miami. Like, not that Louisville is they lost to UVA in overtime.
Yeah.
But that's their only loss of the year. This might be a little bit of a sneaky game for Miami.
Sorry.
So Louisville, Miami tonight. That's 6:00 on ESPN. That one, Miami's got to defend their home turf a little bit there.
Yeah.
Tickets as low as $13 according to ESPN.
Let's go. If we leave right now, we can get there by midnight.
Yeah, I think Miami. I feel good about them with that ACC schedule. Like they're gonna be firmly in the playoff. I think you're right. Indiana took Oregon's safe spot last week with that win in Autzen
I think
Stadium.
Oregon still gets
I think
in.
Oregon gets in, but Indiana has now established themselves as all right. That's a team that could end up being a team that has a bye in the playoff.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let's say they go 12-0 and lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. No more auto buys.
Yeah.
Do you think they're still a top 4 seed?
Probably. They're probably that 4th seed, but they get in.
It could be number 1 Ohio State against number 2 Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. And then
popcorn.
Right. It's just like, hey, loser is the top, or winner's the top overall seed. Loser maybe is the 3 or the 4 seed. But
yeah. I mean, as far as the SEC who gets in there, like, I don't think anyone is safely in.
Right.
If you were to ask me right now, I would probably go Alabama.
Well,
but,
in the SEC, it's tough because you cannibalize each other.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like this week,
exactly.
you've got Ole Miss and Georgia, who are both top 10 teams. One of those is going to lose. If Georgia loses, that's their second loss. LSU, Vanderbilt. One of those teams is going to get their second loss.
Mhm.
Alabama, Tennessee. One of those teams is going to get their second loss. Like
if you have two, it's in your intro. If you go 10-2 in an SEC team, you're probably in.
Yep.
Problem is, you got to win out from here on out. If you got 2 losses through 6 games, 7 games,
right.
Yeah.
So, and Nick Frazier did remind us, he texted us that Ole Miss has not won at Georgia since 1996. So this is not expected to happen, but it could happen. Let's say Ole Miss beats Georgia. That would mean that you have Georgia with 2 losses. Either Tennessee or Alabama has 2 losses. Either LSU or Vanderbilt has 2 losses. Texas already has 2 losses.
Yeah.
Like, those teams all have their backs against the wall. Yeah, you've still got an undefeated Ole Miss, undefeated Texas A&M, but man, you start to get to a lot of SEC teams that might end up 9-3 and on the outside looking in at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then the narratives come out. Oh, the SEC's lost its touch. The Big Ten is so much better. And when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's like you said, they're all good teams that beat up on each other. And if you have 3 losses, you're borderline getting in. We saw it last year. An SEC team, 2 SEC teams, 3 SEC teams. Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina.
All 9-3.
All 9-3. All missed the playoff.
Well, you've got 10 of the top 21 teams in the AP poll are in the SEC.
That's ridiculous.
10 of the top 21. But when they all play each other, it becomes tough to keep enough teams above water. And the SEC, the depth of the SEC may end up hurting them because there isn't an elite team in the SEC this year.
Yeah.
Like you look across, there's no world beater in the SEC.
I don't know if there's an elite team in college football.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the argument for Ohio State.
But it is funny that we preached all summer long about how the Big Ten is top heavy and the SEC is deep. And that's the exact scenario we're in right now.
Yep.
Where, yeah, the Big Ten has the top ranked teams because they're not playing the elite teams every week. And like, yeah, Oregon plays Indiana and Ohio State will play Penn State and Michigan. But like, they're not playing each other every week. It's like you play Purdue, you play Rutgers, then you play Oregon.
And the team we were told is going to make a run at the Big Ten is 3-3, doesn't have a quarterback, and just fired their head coach.
Hey, I'm taking my victory lap. I picked Penn State to miss the playoffs this year.
I did too.
You know.
Well, no, wait. No, I didn't. But I had them losing the first round.
You did. We all, well, and AI, we went to Chat GPT. They had Penn State losing in the first round too.
Well, we can throw those playoff rankings away because I had Clemson winning a national championship.
You did have Clemson winning the national championship. I had Georgia over LSU. They're both top 10 teams, but not quite the start to the year I would have expected. 615-737-1025 is the phone number, man. College football, the 12-team playoff has made it so much more interesting because it's just, we are halfway through the season and I have no idea what it's going to look like at the end of the year. Like 14 playoff halfway through the year, you've probably eliminated all but maybe 10 teams who could make the playoff. There's anybody in the top 25 right now has a shot.
Yeah. And that's what makes it fun.
I love it.
That's why I've become kind of on board with the 12-team playoff. Now, when they expand to 16, I'll be mad.
Yeah, it's like, I think they found something good here at 12.
Same thing with basketball.
Why mess it up?
68 right now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think it's,
why are you messing it up?
Just what you want. And we'll see. It's going to be a fun weekend this weekend. I think we'll get some more clarity on, especially the SEC after this week with those 3 matchups, all on ABC, all on News 2. Vanderbilt, LSU at 11, Ole Miss, Georgia at 2:30, and then Alabama and Tennessee in the nightcap. Going to be a blast.
I can't wait.
Going to be a great day of college football. If you're Scott and you're starting it at 3 a.m., or if you're waking up at the normal time to watch game day, going to be
3
fun.
a.m. is a normal time, buddy.
For some people.
For people sick in the head.
For Nick Frazier.
Well, Nick Frazier. No, wait, rugby's over. Can't watch it.
That's true.
He's gonna be up watching
but
darts.
His Brisbane Broncos, I think, did win
They did.
whatever.
Yeah.
The grand
He told
championship.
him and Tony were watching from 3 to 5 a.m. And then they got up and started their day.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. It is that time, 11:30 on a Friday. We're going to try and predict what happens over the weekend with our Monday headlines. Get yours in. What happens for the Titans, college football, NFL? What are we going to be talking about on Monday? Get your guesses in at 615-737-1025. That's the phone number. We will give ours after the break. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 again. Some Dua Lipa?
I'm not a big Dua Lipa guy.
Really?
I think she samples too much.
Well, that was like the point of her album. It was like Future Nostalgia was what it's called. So
Oh.
she sampled a bunch of old songs and repurposed them.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the looks of Dua Lipa, but no, not the music.
Great tangent coming out of the break. Jake Lyman,
Thanks,
Connor
guys.
Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. We got 30 minutes left in the show. And on Fridays, that means it is time for Monday headlines. What we'll be talking about after the weekend. We'll do a open-ended one, college football, NFL. But let's start with the Titans here. Titans coming off the firing of Brian Callahan, Mike Vrabel coming to town. What is your Monday headline for the two-tone blue, Connor Newt?
I think that the offense looks exactly the same.
Okay.
I'm going to say Cam Ward has 2 turnovers as opposed to no touchdown passes. I think their only touchdowns come from the ground, and Tony Pollard and maybe even Tajay Spears.
Tajay looked good last week.
Yeah, he did. I just think it's going to be more of the same. I think the Patriots come in and roll, and I think it just looks like more of the same. So I guess if we're going to put a final line on this, it's going to be Cam Ward with 2 turnovers in some level, whether that's an interception or a fumble like he did last week, just dropping the ball. It's going to be more of the same.
Ron on the text line agrees with you. He says, we will be saying Monday that Cam was sacked 6 times and had 4 passes knocked down in a loss to the Patriots. So you and Ron,
Me and Ron.
both thinking it's going to be a rough day for Cam Ward and the Titans. Parker Kelly, do you have a Titans headline for us?
I do, and it brings me no joy to say this, but the Patriots are favored by -6.5. If you happen to be a betting man out there, take the Patriots and the points. It is going to be a splattering on Sunday in Nashville. I have the Patriots winning by 14 or more.
Yeah, I mean, I said 38-17 would be my pick. Like, I don't think it's going to be pretty. But I did this. I did this headline a couple weeks ago, and this is the week. This is the week. Chim DK takes one to the house. I am, special teams were not good under Mike Vrabel here with Craig Aukerman. This is the week. Chim DK takes one to the house, but the Titans still lose by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. You're going to keep saying Jim DK is going to take one to the house till it happens.
Until it happens. It has to happen, right? It's been too long. They have to get one at some point. And he's gotten so close a couple of times. I'm going with it. This is the week.
I actually kind of like that.
Like I'm not gonna, we don't know what the offense is going to look like with Brian Callahan gone, and I do think Vrabel runs up the score. But if there's one thing that I believe is going to happen at some point this season, it is Chim DK is going to end up in the end zone, and there will be no laundry on the field behind him this time. I'm saying this is the week. Chim DK, punt return, kick return, touchdown at some point during the game. We got a couple other Titans Monday headlines on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Justin from Greenbrier says, Mike Vrabel doesn't get his victory lap. Lost to the Titans, who orchestrate a 4th quarter comeback to send the Patriots packing.
I'm glad some of you believe. I'm just not there.
We've had a lot of people actually picking the Titans. And guess what? Adam in Portland going big.
Oh, boy.
Big for his Monday headline. He says, am I the only person picking the Titans to win by multiple scores this weekend? Vrabel with the typical overthink game. We will be fired up with a new non-moronic head coach and get a big sweat back to make life hard on May. Feels like a big game coming as long as Cam plays smart. I'm not ready to go there, but I appreciate the optimism from some on the text line, right? Because,
yeah, I mean, I need some hope in my life. I don't have that right now. So,
I mean, right.
Basketball starts in a couple weeks. Maybe I'll get there.
This is a tough week because I think if it was any other week, there would be more hope of like, okay, maybe you get the interim coach bump. You got a chance to go out there and do something. But I think the interim coach bump gets overtaken by the Vrabel revenge factor. He wants it bad.
Yeah. I mean, I told you, he's had it circled for 2 years. Like this is his dream to come in and beat this team. So I think he's going to do everything he possibly can. And look, they have the quarterback to do it. I like how Drake May has been playing.
Yeah,
so
me too. Some of those throws against the Saints the other day were silly.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem.
The one that got called back for what was a questionable, to say the least, offensive pass interference call on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
that was a dime, absolute dime. Billy says Vrabel runs it Vrabel runs it up, the score says you thought it was good to fire me. Patriots by 21. So we've got very different takes from the listeners out there.
We do.
Some of them think the Titans win. Some think the Titans win big. Most people are going with the Patriots, including Jay from Laverne, who says these people that think the Titans are going to win with 7 laughing emojis. So there you go.
Seven's a little much, Jay. Like, people have feelings.
Yeah.
We get it after 3 laughing emojis.
So I mean, it's split. You know, even a 98-2 is split, but we've got some people on there who think that the Titans might win this weekend. All right, let's move on. Open-ended. This could be anything. What else happens this weekend that we'll be talking about on Monday?
I'll go to college football. I think on Monday we're going to be singing 2 songs, and I want you guys to sing them both with me. First, we're going to sing "Spend My Dollar
on Beer."
There we go. Alabama's going to take down Tennessee tomorrow.
Okay.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be similar to the Vanderbilt game. It's going to be close. Alabama's just going to play their game. I think the offense is too much for Tennessee's defense, especially with the injuries that they have. I think Alabama beats Tennessee. I also think we're going to be singing "Hey Oh." You can sing the rest of, of it if you want
it's
to.
okay.
I think Louisville. I think LSU is going to come into First Bank Stadium and win very, very close. I think it's going to be separated by maybe a field goal. Overall, I think this is the game their offense finally decides to start playing like a competent offense. Maybe Garrett Nussmeier has 2 to 3 touchdown passes. I think this is the day they kind of figure it out, and Vanderbilt's going to be up against the wall. They're going to have to win out the rest of the year if they want any chance of making the college football playoff.
You're going to be popular around here, picking against all the local teams.
Yeah,
you're saying
people are
no
going to love me.
Titans, no Vols, no Vandy. Connor says
I'm in a negative mood.
Connor says it's a sad weekend for the state of Tennessee. Parker Kelly, what is your Monday headline around the rest of sports?
I've already said that I think Alabama is going to beat Tennessee, so there's no more point in me spending time on that. So I'm going to go over to West End, LSU and Vanderbilt. LSU ran for 5.5 yards per carry last week. It's the first time they've actually looked good running the football. However, I need to see more. And I also know that Vanderbilt's run defense is really good. So I'm taking Vanderbilt to beat LSU in Nashville, unlike Connor Newt.
Wow.
I want to be a little bit more unpopular in Nashville this week, at least. And also, I just want to throw this one in for kicks and giggles. Utah wins the Holy War. And yes, it'll always be the Holy War,
yes,
no matter how bad suits try to take that name away.
The empty suits.
I love it.
Not our suit. We love our suit. But
yes, we do love our suit.
In college football, always trying to take stuff away from us.
So I got an aggressive one here. I like to go aggressive on these Monday headlines. And, you know, I'm going to shoot for the moon and land among the stars. One of our texters last week got the week wrong and predicted that Miami loses to Louisville.
Oh, you're gonna avenge them tonight?
I'm gonna go with them and say Louisville beats Miami tonight in Coral Gables.
You're feeling bold.
And also Arizona State beats Texas Tech tomorrow. We get 2 top 10 upsets this week.
I like that.
Don't talk about my Red Raiders like
that. I'm going.
Is Levitt back at quarterback, or is it Jeff?
I should know this before I make this pick. I believe Levitt is back.
Okay, that's good.
But I'm going 2 top 10 upsets. I say Miami and Texas Tech both get caught lacking this week.
To all my local Nashvillians, I apologize if I've made you upset today.
You know what? I think there's low expectations for the Titans, but Vandy and Tennessee fans maybe.
I'm sorry. Maybe I showed a little big blue bias. That's my fault.
Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Wes from Hermitage is on the line, and he wants to talk Titans. Wes, thanks for calling. What you got for us this morning?
Oh man, what a weekend of football we got coming up, man. I'm super stoked about this, but I'll tell you what. Would you say, Jake, that you think history repeats itself?
Yeah. If you don't remember history, it's bound to repeat itself.
So with that being said, man, I think this is I'm having a hard time, and I already placed my bet because I kept going back and forth, and I said, you know what? I'm going all in on this. So I'll tell you what's going to happen. Vrabel just had the Vrabel special. He just beat the Bills on primetime when they weren't supposed to. And the very next thing that happens is they lose to a team that they should beat. So I think when you combine that with this fired up team and a new coaching regime, I think this is just a blueprint for Titans success. So I'm taking the Titans -2.5.
Wow.
And I'm also taking Spears and Tony Pollard to get into the end zone.
Yep.
So I think that it might be a little bit different than people have in their heads, but I do expect to see a lot of "we miss you" Vrabel signs in the crowd. And just to end this call with something super duper positive, anchor down, baby.
Yes, anchor down. Let's see if Vandy can take down LSU. And I like the pick. We're getting a lot of people on the Titans. Like, I'm looking through the
I know, and we've been so negative about
Right.
them.
It's our fault.
Yeah.
No, it's Chase's
We're
fault.
descending into him. And you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Ryan in Florida on the text line says Monday headline, Titans win 24-21 in overtime. So we got another one on the Titans.
I'm glad you guys can get there. I can't.
Devin and Dixon, Titans Monday headline, quote, Vrabel is our daddy.
That's more like it, I guess.
It's very possible.
Is that Robbie Stanley's burner?
Devin and Dixon also says, my Tide rolls on with the revenge tour. Alabama will spank that ass for Tennessee, and I can't wait for it. So another one on Alabama. 0877 going to the Preds. He says, Monday headline, Brunette continues his descent into his 24-25 roster decision mistakes. You know, tomorrow's going to be a tough one against Winnipeg.
Roster are you mad about Brady Martin not playing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because listen, I think people are wildly overblowing that. He gets 9 total games. You don't want him to sit back and practice and learn from veterans as long as possible. You want him to just straight burn 9 straight games. I would like him to learn. And, you know, he's practicing with Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly. He's going to learn a lot from them. So keep him around as long as you possibly can. And if that means, you know, scratching him for a couple games just to keep him around longer, then sure, do that. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, you get him more experience being around the NHL team, and you don't have to send him back to juniors quite yet. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. I think we should get an update on that possibly this afternoon when the Predators practice. 615-737-1025. We got plenty of Monday headlines in the text line. We'll get to all of them on the other side. We'll wrap up the show and get you off to Chase and Big Joe out there at Boston Commons. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. I feel like this is the only exception you can have for White Girl Friday.
Only way we go out on this fine week.
It's hilarious the Tennessee fan is playing this song.
I mean, is it not about Tennessee?
See, this is the argument that gets brought up. Next man up, Jake Lyman, Connor New, Parker Kelly, wrapping up the show on this Friday. It says
Tennessee Saturday.
That's the argument. Virginia Tech fans have the same argument with West Virginia fans about country roads because
it's about Western
Virginia. It says West Virginia, but it talks about the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah River, which are for the most part in Western Virginia. So, these are arguments that
have to be had. I have no opinion on.
There really will be no answer. I actually did look up the country roads one. The song was actually written more about Maryland, but it didn't fit in the song, so they changed it to West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah. So everybody's wrong.
Yeah. John Denver, you do what you need to do, brother.
615-737-1025. Last call for phones. We were going through our Monday headlines. What are we going to be talking about after the weekend? We've got plenty on the text line. Lots about the Titans. Justin says it can't possibly be worse over in Titanland. They have to start back up the hill at some point. This week seems like a good starting point. I get it. But, the Vrabel of it all makes me think that they're, I don't see it starting this week. Maybe next week they get back on the horse.
I realize we haven't seen the new coach, I guess, on the field. We haven't seen the product he's going to put out there, but I don't understand what the Titans have shown you from a roster standpoint and the skill level that they have that tells you they can go out there and take a major step up from 6 weeks. I don't think it turns around that quickly in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think from a roster perspective,
it's still not good.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Patriots have a better team.
They do.
Take the coaching out of it. They have the better team.
Yeah, no, they do. And they have a quarterback that's playing better than yours right now. He has receivers that he can hit, young and old. On defense, I sound like a Canadian. On defense, they have guys that can get to your quarterback that you don't have. Not that the Patriots are good. They're okay. They're not, the Patriots of 2010 anymore, but they're a solid team and they're better than your team, which is more important. So I just don't understand the notion that some of these fans have that through 6 weeks of the season, the Titans have looked awful. All of a sudden they're going to come out and look good. I can't get behind that. But if you believe that, good on you.
I mean, we won't know until we get to Sunday.
And they'll bring up, well, they beat the Cardinals. Yes, but they were kind of handed that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if DeMarcado doesn't decide to drop the ball in the end zone, they win. So you were kind of handed that.
It's
one.
True. It is true. Like, it was great to get a win because you hadn't seen one in 10 months, but you also had to understand that type of winning's not sustainable. And we saw what happened the next week against Las Vegas. Thomas in Hendersonville giving us some clarity on Dixieland Delight. He says it mentions Tennessee 5 times. The only thing to do with Alabama is the name of the band.
That is
so
true.
It's a fair point. It is a
true.
fair point. 0877 texted in about Andrew Brunette continuing to descent into his roster decision mistakes. He says it has a lot to do with Tyson Jost playing over Kemmel and Kemmel getting sent back to Milwaukee. So
Jost has been good.
I mean, he's been better than I think you would expect for a guy who was a waiver claim. But I agree. I do agree that you'd rather not have him playing top 6.
No, I agree, but I don't think it's been a story of questionable roster decisions like the texter is sort of making it out to be. I like the Brady Martin thing, I think plays a factor into that opinion. But overall, I'm fine with the lines. I'm fine with the defensive pairings. I think Nick Pervix has been very, very good so far.
Yeah.
I like him playing alongside Yossi. I think the lines have been fine. And here's the thing about hockey. You can change those up very, very easily, very quickly. So I don't really understand that. But if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And I'm not here to shoot down your opinion. I'm just here to give you mine.
Will in Kentucky going to the pitch. Decision day. NSC over Inter Miami 2-1. Yeah, we got Messi in town this weekend.
Oh,
too.
dude. It is a big weekend.
It is
city.
Across all of Tennessee. So Will is predicting a 2-1 win over Inter Miami tomorrow. Final day of the MLS season. Nashville currently 6th in the Eastern Conference with 54 points. So that would be a big win. We will wrap up with this. Mitchell says, Sweat is coming back, and that's all you need to know, which not confirmed yet. We'll find out later today.
But it looks like you are.
It does look like Tavondre Sweat could be back in the lineup, and he adds the Wedding Crashers Will Ferrell meme of Ma, the meatloaf.
Still a movie I need to watch.
You haven't seen Wedding Crashers?
On my list.
It's a good one.
I just haven't had time to watch things lately.
Yeah.
I am next level sore today. I hadn't worked out this week, so I combined everything into one
Just
workout.
full
yesterday. So everything hurts. And then I played flag football last night. So
Oh, same.
Wow.
I'm dying.
Win?
No, because we got I'm gonna say this on radio so these referees can hear it. We got jobbed because you know who the quarterback for the team we played was?
Nick Vattiato.
Close. Kyler Creasy.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Kevin Creasy's son.
that should
Wow.
be against the
I
rules.
called his game 2 years ago.
So we got jobbed because he got every call in the book.
Yeah.
Because of name value.
Yeah.
Not actually. Hopefully, if by the off chance Kyler is listening to this, you played a good game, brother. And
Should have opened the show with this.
He's a good
Yeah.
player.
he's very good. And I did pressure him a few times. I'm a defensive end.
There
so
you go.
I
There
did
we
get a few
go.
pressures on him.
Hey,
Would you call yourself more of a Draymond Jones or an Arden Key?
I'm Arden Key because I'll get up close to the quarterback and then I'll choke.
So you're Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us here on this Friday. Fun show today with Max. Hers in the first hour. Connor joining us the last 2 hours. Big weekend of football, whether it's college football, Titans and Patriots on Sunday. Hope you enjoy it. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next live from Boston Commons, getting you ready for the football weekend. That's coming up next here on 102.5 The Game.